الحمد لله الذي جعل نعمته في رياض جنان المقربين وخص بهذه الفضيلة من عباده المتفكرين وجعل التفكر في مصنوعاته وسيلة لرسوخ اليقين في قلوب عباده المستبصرين استدلوا عليه سبحانه بصنعته فعلموه وتحققوا أن لا إله إلا هو ووحده وشاهدوا عظمته وجلاله ونزهوا فهو قائم بالقسط بجميع الأحوال وهم شهداء على ذلك بالنظر والاستدلال فعلموا أنه حليم قادر عليم كما قال في كتابه الكريم شاهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط لا إله إلا هو العزيز الحكيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين وشفيع المذنبين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. We begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this morning who made in the gardens of the Mukarrabeen a place for those of his slaves who are ibadi al-mutafakkirin, who are the people who reflect. وَجَعَلَ تَفَكَّرَ فِي مَصْنُوعَاتِهِ وَسِيلَةٍ لِرُسُوخِ الْيَقِينِ فِي قُلُوبِ عِبَادِهِ الْمُسْتَبْصِرِينَ. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who made His creation a means, a wasila to reach the certitude for those of His ibad, for those of His servants who reflect on His creation and who derive istadlal, who derive proofs alayhi subhanahu bi sanatihi about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His creation, and who do the inner reflection until they reach the certitude that He is one, who reach the inner realization of the azma, of the exalted nature of Allah Jalaluhu, and who reach the stage where they call out that innahu halimun qadirun alim, that He is Halim, He is Qadir, and He is Alim, He is all-knowing, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called, has said in His book, Shahidallahu annahu la ilaha illahu wal malaikatu wa ulul ilm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself bears witness that there is no ilah except Him, and the angels bear witness. And ulul ilm, those who possess knowledge, they bear witness that He is la ilaha illa huwa al-aziz al-hakim. And we bear witness that Sayyidina Muhammad is the Khatimun Nabiyyin, and we send salawat upon him and on his companions and everyone who follows him until the day of Qiyamah. This morning, inshallah, we are entering a new stage. We are entering a new level of our class, which gives me tremendous happiness because of the vastness of the paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through reflections on His creation. We recall that our focus is inshallah the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are here to reflect on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our efforts are to deepen our understanding of what He has said in His book. And we said that His book comprises three fundamental themes. As Imam al-Ghazali said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself, Risala, the prophethood, the messengerhood, the guidance that He sent, and the Akhirah. And all three are fundamental domains of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we said that the paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are very restricted in terms of the Dhat. We cannot have any understanding of His Dhat, of who He is, because He is unlike anything that human beings can ever comprehend. And we said that there are paths to His name, through His names, which are wider, not so constricted. And we said there are paths to His sifat, to His attributes, and we did whatever we did in our limited capacity about the names and the sifat. The creation theme of the Qur'an is so fundamentally connected with the names and the sifats, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the entirety of the message of the Qur'an, that there is no other theme like this. So that's a feeling of happiness that comes with it, that here we have a realm of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is accessible to us in ways in which He Himself is not accessible, His sifat and His names are not accessible. This realm of creation, if we could have it as a source to reflect and to reach the certitude of Iman, the certitude that takes us to the place where the doors of Jannah would be opened, inshallah, that is the goal. What is creation? What is makhluk? And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has presented this creation to us. Makhluk is everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single thing that is other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what He has created. And everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created has been organized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in different realms. So there is the realm of the creation that is material realm, that we can see. There is the realm that we cannot see, خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ. He created the death and the life. We cannot see physically, but we know there is death, there is life. Then there is realm of the angels, of the malaika. We believe, we know they are there, but we cannot see them in our own life, but they are there. And then there are realms upon realms and realms upon realms of which we have no access, to which we have no access in this dunya. And then our situation is going to change, and we will have access to certain of those realms about which we only know from the book and the messenger in this dunya, like the Jannah and the Jahannam. We don't see them, but inshallah, if we go to Jannah, we will be there. We will have access to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to which we don't have access. These children have access to many realms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they don't yet have the knowledge of the mysteries of these creations. We don't have knowledge to the entirety of the mysteries of creation, but when we gain knowledge, we gain more access to the mysteries of those creations which we see, but we only see them superficially. So the purpose of reflection is then to know with certitude that تُسَبِّحُ لَهُ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالسَّبْعُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَمَنْ فِيهِنَّ. Everything in the 7 heavens and the 7 earths glorifies. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. And there is nothing of the created beings that does not glorify Him. وَلَكِنْ لَا تُفَقَّهُونَ بِالتَّسْبِيحَهُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ حَلِيمًا غَفُورًا. But you don't understand their tasbih, you don't understand their glorification, but they are doing it right now. When Dawood alayhi salam did his tasbih and the angels and the mountains did the tasbih, they joined him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened to this very special messenger a realm of his creation in action. These mountains are doing tasbih with him. When the Mantiq al-Tayr was taught to Sulaiman alayhi salam, the language of the birds was taught to Sulaiman alayhi salam, and the ants are speaking and he understands them. There is a realm of creation that was open to him alayhi salam. Lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ardi wa huwa al-aliyyul azim. تكاد السماوات يتفطرن من فوقهن والملائكة يسبحون بحمد ربهم يستغفرون لمن في الأرض ألا إن الله هو الغفور الرحيم. At this very moment there are angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are glorifying Him and they are seeking forgiveness. They are seeking forgiveness for us because we have gathered in one of His houses to reflect on his book, and this is what the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alayhi salatu wasalam told us, that when you do this, then this is what happens. We don't have access to those angels, but we believe in what has been told to us. So we begin this new section of our reflection. Inshallah, today we can only map out, we cannot even start the section itself. تفكروا في آلاء الله ولا تفكروا في الله عز وجل. This is the same, this is not a very authenticated hadith, so it doesn't go to the level of the Prophet ﷺ, but this is solidly anchored, and I will inshallah say more about the Sahih hadiths which collaborate to give us the same meaning, that تفكروا في آلاء الله, reflect on the Allah, which is the Nema and the power, two meanings of Allah. But do not reflect on Fillah, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal. But how do we reflect on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What are the methods which have been taught to us? What is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us? What are the creedal connections? Because reflection can also, if the lens is not right, the reflection can be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous for our iman, for our hereafter. What is the purpose? What is the ultimate goal? What is it that we are trying to achieve? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. In the creation of the life and death, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, there is a purpose, and the purpose is ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا, so that He can test who among you does the best deeds. وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. When He tells us that He has created the seven heavens tibaqa, layer upon layer, simultaneously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites us and He tells us, مَا تَرَى فِي خَلْقِ الرَّحْمَنِ مِن تَفَاوُتٍ. You would not see tafawut. You would not see discord. You would not see contradictions in what He has created. Look again, and your sight would come back defeated if you are trying to find discord in His creation. So the lens through which we look are extremely important in finding the right things that we need to find for the purpose of looking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is important because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the af'al. He created the actions that human beings do. Among His creations are the af'al of ibad, the actions that He created. What is our proof of that? What is the proof that what human beings do, and this is connecting us this with what we were saying before. If evil is there as an action, if somebody kills somebody, that killing is an action that was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first human being on this planet who died, that human being died a violent death. He was killed. He didn't die a natural death. That action itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created death. This human being didn't create death. Death was acquired by this human being as his action. So death is there, it's a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are various ways for something to die, for somebody to die. This particular incident that is in the Qur'an is acquired by one human being. He didn't create death, but he acquired the action of killing somebody. وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. This is Imam al-Bukhari, rahimullah. He says, حدثنا علي بن عبد الله حدثنا مروان بن معاوية حدثنا أبو مالك عن ربيع بن خراش عن حذيفة رضي الله عنه. He says that with his chain of isnad, as he mentions them, going to Sayyidina Hudhayfa رضي الله عنه, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله يصنع كل ثانية وصنعته. The Prophet ﷺ, in this hadith of Sayyidina Hudhayfa, says that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَصْنَعُ كُلِّ صَانِعٍ وَصَنَعَتُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created every sane and every sana that He does. Sane is the one who creates something, who does something, who creates something. وَتَلَا بَعْدُهُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. And in some of the narrations, after saying the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, there is the recitation of this ayah from Surah Al-Safat, ayah number 96, وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. There are other hadiths related to it, and Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, one of the companions, when he heard the Prophet ﷺ saying this, asked, Al-Ajz wal-Qais min al-Qadr. Was the Ajz and Qais, they are also from the decreed, meaning but they also created. And it's very important to know that these are the hadiths that are coming from Kitab al-Iman, the book of faith. Where these hadiths occur, they are also, it's very, very important to pay attention to where they occur. So Imam al-Bukhari brings this hadith in Kitab al-I'tisam bil Kitab al-Sunnah, holding on to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Sunnah, and Imam Muslim brings this hadith in Kitab al-Iman, meaning the importance of believing what the Prophet ﷺ is telling us is central to our Iman. In the similar vein is the hadith, يَزَالُ النَّاسُ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ حَتَّى يُقَالَ هَذَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ خَلْقَ فَمَنْ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ فَمَنْ وَجَدَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ شَيْئًا فَلْيَقُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ. The Prophet ﷺ said that people would not stop asking who created this, who created this, who created, until they reach the question, who created Allah? And he says, فَمَنْ وَجَدَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ شَيْئًا, if any one of you sees this, فَلْيَقُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ. If you see this happening, then say, I believe in Allah. So this is very important hadith which gives us once again the parameters of reflection. When you reach the stage of who created this, who created this, when you reach the stage of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stop it. That's not where we can go. That's where our aql is not able to go. Now, what is the purpose of Imam Ghazali wrote this very short 50-page, almost like an article, which is included in his Rasail, Al-Hikmah fi Makhluqillahi Azza wa Jal. The wisdom in the creation of makhluk, of the created beings, and he goes through certain aspects of creation. The wisdom in the creation of fire, the wisdom in the creation of the earth, the wisdom in the creation of the mountains, the earth, the planets, things like that. But at the end of the book, very end of the book, he has one page. He says, so we have described the wisdom of the creation of certain of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what is the purpose of reflection on this creation? And he said, ما تقدم ذكر في هذا الكتاب من بدائع الخلق وعجائب الصنع وما ظهر في مخلوقاته من الحكم آيات بينات وبراهين واضحة. We have mentioned some of the ajaib, some of the wonders of the creation and the hikmah behind them. What is manifest, what is just out there for our eyes to see, as bayinat, as clear signs, clear proofs, barahin, and the proofs, wadiyah, like the clear proofs. But he says that if you were to go deeper and deeper and deeper into just one little tiny bit of the creation, you would need thousands of years to reflect on it. You don't have thousands of years. And you have a journey to do, you have something to finish, because you're going somewhere, you're going to end your life, you have a purpose here. What is it that we can ultimately do? And his answer is that actually go into the depth of this ocean in one little corner until you have an experiential knowledge of the purpose of creation, the purpose of your own being, and the purpose of reflection, and then come out. Don't just be there, because your purpose is something else. This is very important for us, because I was thinking, I don't want to call it homework, but it is homework. Every class has a homework. We actually want to do, every one of us, and myself included, find one little thing in the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and learn, deeply learn. Just go deeper and deeper and deeper in that one thing. Many, many years ago I did this about the honeybee, and it hasn't left me since then. Every time I think of honeybee, it just has this unending ocean of the mysteries in one little creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I said, we are just laying out the mapping, we are just doing the mapping of this theme. What I am suggesting as homework for every one of us, to choose one thing of interest, whether it's a planet sun, one little ocean out of several oceans, something that is of interest to us and go so deep into it, that its mysteries start to open to our hearts and minds. Until it becomes experiential knowledge. Until it becomes experiential knowledge. And those who know me and my work, they know that I don't normally have very high, when it comes to science, I don't show a lot of appreciation of what modern science is, our science is, but I've spent half of my life in the lab and I have appreciation for science. This is an area where what Imam Ghazali wrote in this book is just surface of what we know now. What we know now about the planets, about the oceans, about the mountains, it's just, there is no comparison between the knowledge that has been acquired through science, through scientific explorations over these centuries since 1111, and we need to partake of that knowledge. The problem is the lens through which that knowledge is normally seen in the scientific community. And this is so fascinating because this increase in knowledge should increase the light in the heart. And it has done the opposite. It has done, but we don't need to wear those lenses. So I brought something here. This is a gift that came to us several years ago from China. And this is the story of the silkworm. Just silkworm, and this is an actual silkworm in this box that has a story of its own. Silkworm is one tiny little creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The secret of producing silk was kept for centuries by the Chinese. 5,000 years ago, Chinese domesticated the silkworm. The silkworm that eats these mulberry leaves, these white mulberry, and it's $1.2 billion economy right now. This little thing, which is an actual, there is a worm inside it. It's a living, like, I'm going to pass it around. The length of one thread that this tiny little creature can weave can reach almost 1 kilometer. Like from here all the way passing Costco. How did this silkworm know what to do? How to eat? Just go. And the research that they have done is just fascinating now with nanotechnology. The usages they are trying to do, like this silkworm, the silk thread, if you go to the subatomic level, the nano level, you can insert some of these things in the human mechanism so that the broken cells can start to repair themselves, because this has this property of weaving. Like this is so strong. It's just so the idea again is to actually just have an experiential reality of one tiny little area of creation that is of interest to you, and reach the level where the heart is just filled with this wonder of creation. And it's not a superficial knowledge. It's not just facts and things written on Wikipedia. Like it's something we want to internalize. So that's the homework for this particular section of our reflection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. But we want to remain focused on the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first thing that we would inshallah go deep into is what are the 11 roots used in the Qur'an, and I'll put this in the class notes so you don't have to write them out. I'll put the text there. What are the words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses for the theme of creation? Obviously the first word that comes to mind is khalaqa. He created. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ فَاعْبُدُوهُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَكِيلٌ. الله خالق كل شيء وهو على كل شيء وكيل. إن ربك هو خلاق العليم. You see the connection between Asmaul Husna and the act of creation. So all 11 roots used in the Quran for the action of creation, for the act of creation, have corresponding relationships with the Asmaul Husna that we did, the 99 names. We said there are more than 99 names. But the lists of names that we did, how is the act of creation connected with the name creation, name of the Creator? Al-Khaliq, Al-Bari, Al-Badi, Al-Fatir. These are the names that we talked about in our previous sessions. The act of creation and the name. So 8 of these root words, 8 of the 11 root words used in the Quran for the action of creation give us Asmaul Husna. The 3 that don't give us Asmaul Husna, they are related to the sifats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have while we map this theme, we have a session, or maybe more than one session, on these 11 root words, so that we internalize them. And then we want to know with precision what is the difference between the act of fatara and the act of khalaqa. These are 2 actions of creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us He created the samawat and the earth, and He tells us Fatiru samawati wal ard, that He fatara. Why fatara and why khalaqa? We want to know in depth. We are not students of Arabic in this class. We are students of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are the significant levels of difference in the usages that we have? We said that the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be derived from the actions. So Nasha, Nun, Sheen and Hamza is one of the words used in the Quran for the action of creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't have the name Al-Munshi from that. But what is the reason for that? Innahu yubdi wa yu'id. Innahu yubdi wa yu'id. Bada. Ba, dal and hamza, bada. To begin something, to start something. Gives us the word about the creation. Allah is the one. Innahu wa yubdi wa yu'id. He is the one who starts the creation, and He is the one who would bring it back. So Al-Mubdi and Al-Mu'id are the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they are not in the Quran. They are in the list of the 99 names that is in the list of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the one we did. Now the connection between the correct understanding, the correct lens, and looking at the creation. As I said in the beginning, the theme of creation is so vast that it connects with many different Asmaul Husna and many different Sifat. Number one, remember we said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given proofs for the existence of His being in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is something that is built into the makhluk, into every creation. There is the knowledge of the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yet, human beings have been given this ability to think and ask questions. Who is the creator of such and such thing? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides proofs in His book to the Sani, to the maker, to the Musawwir, to the fashioner, to the beginner. So the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we said, is the first singular attribute, wujud, Sifatul Zat, in the list of 20 attributes that we mentioned. The first one, the first class of attribute was essential attribute, Sifatul Nafsiyah or Sifatul Zat. In that attribute, in that class, is there only one attribute, and that is of wujud, of existence. The theme of creation does not necessarily provide proofs for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it provides for His attribute of being the creator. Now, that leads automatically to the existence of the creator. So when we will go into the depths of this, to some extent, when we read in Razi or Tabari or other tafasirs, that this is the proof for the Sani, this is the proof for the maker of this. It goes to the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the creator, not necessarily as His existence. So once again, the fine distinction between the wujud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the proofs for wujud. The proof for wujud is just in the constitution of the creation. Whether somebody acknowledges it or not is a different story. So all these proofs that we find in the Qur'an, we will go into the detail, they are to show those who do not want to believe that your istidlal, your questioning, your reasoning is incorrect, because look at this. This little creature here is a proof for the creator. Number two, we said there are 5 Sifat al-Salbiya, the transcendental attributes. The eternity, al-Qidam, wal-Baqa, Mukhalafa, lil-Hawadis, Qiyam bil-Nafs, Wahdaniya. These are the 5 attributes which are transcendental: eternity, permanence, dissimilarity from creation, self-subsistence, and unicity. There is nothing in the created order, there is nothing in the makhluk, there is nothing in the creation similar to these 5. So when we look at eternity, there is nothing eternal in the creation. Kullu shay'in halikun illa wajh. Everything except the face of Allah is going to perish. There is no baqa, there is no permanence. We see this every day. There is no baqa in the creation. There is no baqa in ourselves. There is no baqa in any of the creation. Dissimilarity from the creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is totally different from, because we can see some of the creation, and that is totally different from the creator. There is nothing that exists by itself. Isn't that amazing? There is not a single creation, the trees, the snow, the mountains, the earth, the planets, the sky, the sun. There is absolutely nothing that can exist by itself. Everything needs something to exist. And there is unicity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is that there is nothing in it. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He created everything in pairs, like even the unicity, oneness is denied even at that level of numerical existence. Everything has a counter, everything is in pairs. Then we said that there are 7 conceptual attributes, Sifat al-Ma'ani. The theme of creation is connected with all of these 7 attributes. Life, knowledge, will, omnipotence, hearing, sight, speech. We'll inshallah see how the theme is connected, creation theme is connected with these. Then we said there are 7 Sifat al-Ma'nawiyah, attributes of qualification, the living, the knowing, the volitional, the omnipotent, hearing, seeing, speaking. These are again connected with the theme of creation itself. So, when you reflect on the Qur'an, this is Razi in his Muqaddimah, you will find extensive presence of the proofs for the Sane, for the maker. Imam al-Qushayri, he comments, have you ever considered Afala have you ever considered what comes out? Did you create it or did we create it? Surah Al-Waqi'ah. My mind is going blank on the ayah itself. But inshallah, what I'm pointing out here is that have they not pondered at the domain of the heavens and the earth? Have they not seen within themselves? What I'm trying to now present is a systematic layering of the realms of creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents to us in His book. Number 1 is the ayat in the material world. In the material world, meaning the entirety of the cosmos that has material existence, that has madda, that has matter as part of its being. The fundamental difference at the very foundational level that we have with the scientific explanation of the material world is that that world created through modern science is inert. It does not have a living relationship with the Creator. It's a world operating with its own laws. So, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that there will be a day when the earth will be asked to disclose what's in it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He told the earth, Aqlil ma, hold your water now. When Nuh alayhi salam, when the flood came, the command given in this ayah, the part of this, just these four words, they say that this is the most concise statement in the Qur'an. This Aqli al-Ma. The command that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the earth, hold your water, means that this earth is in constant relationship with the Creator. When He told the fire to be cool to Ibrahim alayhi salam, the fire listened. There is no possibility in our understanding through the modern scientific understanding of fire to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded it to do, and it did that. So, the realm of the matter is the first realm. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. This is the second realm, فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. What goes inside us is the second realm. It is all the emotions that we go through, all the states we go through. It's all the gham, the grief, the heartbrokenness, the sickness, the health, the ni'mah, the blessing, the joy, everything is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we go through. Those are the signs to reflect. Those are the creations that we are invited to reflect on. And the third is the human history. Everything that has gone from that first example that I mentioned about Habil and Qabil, the coming down of Adam alayhi salam until the end of time is creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon which we can reflect. Three distinct realms of creation. So to sum up, in our mapping of this theme, we are inshallah going to take every word, every root that is mentioned in the Qur'an about the creation, try to deepen our understanding of those, try to deepen our understanding of the subtle differences between the use of one particular word for creation as opposed to another word in a certain place. Try to understand the connections between these actions of creations and the names attached to that. Like the act of creation through khalaqa has khaliq and khallaq as the Asma'ul Husna of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we want to deepen our understanding of of certain aspects of creation, such as zawjain, the pairing of creation. The act of creation has one other level, and we'll inshallah go into that, and that is the recreation. When everything has perished, when the resurrection takes place, that is a different order of creation. Resurrection is the act of creation after everything has perished, which differs from the first act of creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the book in his book. So this is the general plan for this theme, inshallah. There are other aspects which will come, and I think one of those is a rather very difficult one, and that is, these are the questions which were raised in our tradition. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He did not create the ins and the jinn except to worship Him, and we believe He does not have the need for anyone to worship Him. But He is telling us that He created us to worship Him. Why would He do that then? If He doesn't have the need and He doesn't do anything without purpose, what is the purpose? These are very fundamental questions. When He tells us that when He wants to create something, He just says kun, fayakun, and it is. When He says kun, to what is that addressed? The thing to be created hasn't come into existence yet. So this address of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kun, be, who is the addressee of the kun? Who is the addressee of be? If it is the thing that is going to come into existence, then it is already existent. And if it is not to the thing that is, then to what? Kun is to whom? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can create with one kun, with one command, then why did it take 6 days to create the heavens and the earth? What is the purpose of that? Why is heaven 6 days? These are beautiful questions to reflect on. This is what, inshallah, we go into details. I always want to have questions, and I want to today actually pass this around here so you can actually hold this. This is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and just, this. Allah, there are questions. Are there any questions on the chat box? So in terms of this project, this homework, that just choose one of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be planets, it could be one planet, it could be sun, moon, earth. But choose something small so that it's possible within the time available to have that feeling of awe and wonder, and the heart is filled with some in-depth understanding of that aspect of the creation. Is the realm that is not manifest a realm to be explored? Is the realm that is not manifest a realm to be explored? So the one, just to put the question into the vocabulary of the Qur'an, the realm that is not manifest. There are two different aspects. So this manifest can be zahir and batin, but if we translate manifest into zahir, meaning what is apparent, what is manifested, or it can be ghaib. So in both cases there is this aspect of creation. What is not manifest can have several layers, meaning the malaika are not manifest to us. For us, they are not manifest. The ruh, yasalunaka ani ruh, they ask you about the ruh. They ask you about the spirit. Spirit is one of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about which we have been given very little knowledge. Then there is the realm that is not manifest right now for us, meaning the hereafter. But that will be manifested after resurrection. And we are invited to reflect on the hereafter tremendously, and all these graphic details about Jannah and the hereafter are there. So depending on what is meant by manifest, we explore and we go into details of of those realms, inshallah, in order to deepen our understanding. The only thing of the creation, there is nothing in the created order that is out of human reflection. It's just what is the level, what is the qualification that we have to explore those realms. So everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is makhluk, is creation. We just need to have the right lens, the right qualifications, the right tools to explore those things. If there are no questions, no more questions, inshallah, we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open our hearts to the realm of creation that He has created for us to reflect on with the right lens and with the right purpose, so that we gain His mercy, we gain His blessings, so that we keep walking on the path that leads to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ يَا اللَّهُ أَنْتَ حَلِيمٌ كَرِيمٌ عَظِيمٌ تُحِبُّ الْعَفْوَ فَاعْفُ عَنَّا يَا كَرِيمُ رَبَّنَا اشْرَحْ صُدُورَنَا وَيَسِّرْ أُمُورَنَا وَنَوِّرْ قُلُوبَنَا اللهم نوِّر قلوبنا بالقرآن العظيم اللهم يسر لنا كل أمرنا اللهم يا شافي اشفي صدورنا وبطوننا من كل داء يا رب العالمين يا رحمن يا رحيم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم